the way they do their own for food, that they might take a little bit of wine in Paris goblet and shake the thing for the next 2 hours. It's not at home, just see the bottle, bring the second time. So what I'm saying is that we were shocked to understand that context of that kind of a church. So because eventually, by the time we're going in there, so we have to go and pack, take off our jacket, take off our tie, so we try to talk out and look rough. so that we can fit the context. Because if we had gone in with our suit, they'll just be looking at what's wrong with these black boys? Yeah, so we can fit the context properly. So that's what I mean.
Just now, does that mean that that third one, now for people, you talked about the third one being people who are churches that are already established.
Yeah.
Now you said something about your daughter being to Birmingham. I'm from Birmingham. Well, I might probably understand what she's saying, really. Now, could it be that there is a third one or part of the third one or either a fourth one for which is where we people who are here who are just going out to set up then can be like the next generation who have been part of the whole,
sure,
but don't want to continue being part of the whole, and we can they be the starting place for people who are
so right. You are so right. You are so right in that, because even throughout this week, all the meetings we've been having, the evangelical alliance and all of that, that's what we've been saying now, that how do I put it? I talk about the plateau, and churches are plateaued now, right? They're not growing. And then if you're not careful, you're going to sleep. So we are thinking of how, on that plateau stage, how we can develop a new engine that will push it up. Now, the engine that will push it up is not me, it's not none of us here. Let's be honest. They are my children and your children. So, but what we mustn't do is to let them go and go off. The only reason why they are going and going off is that they can follow you as much as they are 17, 18. So when they go to university, you might wish them bye-bye. What you need to upgrade is put God in them. Now, if you want them to come back to our line and kind of church, then we have to create that fourth dynamics. And that fourth dynamics means it is focus on that younger generation who what they are going to seek for outside we already. It's because we don't have what they are seeking outside inside currently.
So sorry.
Yeah.
So I would have asked all the questions together.
Yeah, it's okay.
This one. You gave us 8 reasons why churches grow, but is it possible we get some of these things, some of these materials from you, in terms of probably email, and some of the things you're reading out within, like you talked about, don't mix up what is important and what is urgent, and you said some things that I thought they were very important, but I could only get just.
No, I'll email my notes to.
Yes.
I'll email my notes. Okay.
I'm Festus. Just to follow on to my brother's question, we have this dilemma even amongst the white churches, where they seem to have the tools as well. They seem not to be growing, reaching out to their own kind, And so my question is, what do you reckon that they do? Because they seem to be losing their own kind as well. We see that a lot of young Caucasians are not in church; they are rather in the poor. But we are trying to reach them, and they seem to be losing them.
They never had it. They don't listen.
Okay. So what do you reckon they do to see that they can get them back in the church?
Yeah. Their own worldview is different from us. Right from 1958 up to 60, the English community have already lost their spirituality. So people who are born in the 60s, up till now, they struggle with their spirituality. Then their children are actually out of the spirituality. the challenge between them and us is this: we have an idea of who God is. You might not just want to admit, right? There's hardly any African. If it's not a Muslim God, it will be every African have a kind of a God idea. But the Caucasian community have no idea of who God is, and there is no exemplified, established order to allow them to, because the environment and the community don't encourage it to be. So that's why engaging them through their own method. That's why Alpha has been successful through their own method, because they go to a place where they have to reason everything and rationalize it and say, what are you talking about? What's all that? If God is, why is all this stuff? So they don't even know. So that's why even if you look at the government cabinet now, that's you see those generations that have come in there. Nick Clegg, atheist. The other one, whatever, what's his name? Miliband, atheist. You know, they kind of don't know where it's dancing to. Right? So you can see that if you can see from the leadership, it tells you what we have within the sect. So they didn't become atheists in one day. They've come to a positional understanding that there's no God. So we are dealing with a community that have no understanding of who God is. So that's why for you to engage them that there is God. Now, I'm not going to take my African spirituality or my African Christianity to say there's God, the God of Abraham, the God of say, wow, he does not even know what they're talking about. Right? So and that's the mistake we make. Right? And that's why we never get a church filled with the white people or whatever. Unless you understand their context, their postmodernism mindset, that means that you have to befriend, because it's not the God you say to them that they believe. It's the God that they can taste, they can feel, they can experience. And until we can put ourselves as Jesus that cannot be touched, feel, and experienced, they're not going to come to know the world. Anyone, the choice is yours.
Thank you so much. I was just going to ask a question. Based on the Redeemed Christian Church book, as workers, we're told that you have to dress official, depending on the location you are at the moment. So I know that's the basics, before as workers. So I'm saying if you're within, like, knowing your location, for example, you give the experience when you have to take off your shirt and look. So I'm saying, would we be able to do that?
Okay, good question. Good question. You said you are told.
Yeah.
They're told to be that. As a dress code, right? Coming from. They just ask you that. See, that's why I like England. You know why I like England? You challenge things. See, there are so many things. I mean, the staff in the office will tell you that there are so many things that within the English culture we have challenged from Nigeria, and they have changed it to suit your context.
That's right.
Right? Now, if my tie and my suit will be that perfect person to come to the Lord, which is important, me dressing with suit or wearing my shirt and trousers to win the souls. So, see, that's why everything has to be in terms of a dialogue. You see, if you don't tell me the reason why you are doing what you are doing, then I will misconstrue your doing. So, but if you tell me that this is the reason why, then it changes the dynamics of everything. Because the purpose is greater than the input. And that's why most of you are dressed in suit and tie today. I'm sorry too. They are so redeemed, man. Suit and on a Saturday. My God. Hallelujah.
I think this course should be, sir, I think this course should be given to our area pastors and senior pastors, so that they can understand the new ways of the church, the way the church is going. Because like they said, if tomorrow I turn up in church without a tie, my area pastor will come to the office.
No, it's not for you. You are still under authority. You are very much under authority right now. In terms of what your area pastor or your senior pastor or whatever tells you to do. I am still under authority. If I'm asked to wear If I'm going to wear a suit and a tie, I'll wear a suit and a tie. I mean, if I'm going to Lambert Palace to go and meet the Archbishop of Canterbury, I won't wear a tie. Right? I will wear my collar because I'm respecting the institution. If I'm ministering in an higher northern church, I will not even wear the collar, I will wear the full robe and the everything. It's to suit the context. So, because I'm under authority just like you're under authority. However, you are here because you want to go and start a church, correct? Now, if the context of the area where you are starting the church does not warrant that you wear a tie, you are the own authority of yourself. And you can explain to your area pastor or whatever that these people of this community, tie doesn't do it for them. So that's why we don't wear tie. We dress decent, but once we put on the tie, they are thinking that they are too high for us. And that's why we are who we are. Now, it's about the outcome. The outcome is greater than the process. So it's to look at the outcome and the way you communicate it. Yeah?
And the second one is, I mean, I'm being sent to a community where it's about 85% white. And they're very wealthy. And here I am, I have a very small second-hand car. You know? How do I reach out to them? And these people, they don't even come out.
Yeah.
Once they come from Central London into their mansion, the door is shut.
Yeah.
You can't even give flowers.
Yeah, it's another teaching totally of that, which is different from this. It's called the power to influence your community. It's another teaching. I'm not listening to teach that one. But I will have, because don't forget that the rich people, see, it's the poor man that carry his own wealth all over him. The rich or the poor people, my God, you won't even know the man is rich. Right? But there are a couple of things, if you are being sent to a rich community, that you need to learn. Right? There's some context of the culture that you need to learn within a rich community. Number one, you have to learn how to speak well. Right? Because when more people are funny, they judge you from the moment. You see, I don't know whether the early days when I used to attend meetings, I used to tell them here, they come to a place where they are speaking in the English. You'll be telling yourself, this is not English these people are speaking. Because they will not mess you up. You just be looking at the man, they say, what do you think? Because you understand, say yes. You don't know what they told you. They say yes. When they say you contribute to what? You just be speaking for that. So you don't tell them yes. I'm reading the tea and sit. I said, let them just speak, I can go home. But you know what? It's an intentional attempt to expose your incompetency so that you can remain subdued. But the moment they throw their stuff in, you watch the space. You look for an opportunity. And you throw your own. That is you know what you're talking about. And you dabaru the thing. They will know that you are in the same league. Then they'll come down, then you'll be speaking proper English. But until then, they will do that. And I'm telling you that I've sat on so many boards in this country as whatever is the same thing, is the Igbo mindset. They come with presupposition and prejudice. Yes. Right? They come with that. No matter who, they come with presuppositions. But once they know you are operating, you see me talk to my Igbo friend, I talk to them like if I'm talking to my whatever. Because now I understand them. Right? So, first of all, you need to educate yourself, upskill up yourself. Right? So, you need to have a little bit of, because if you are one of them, you only try times 1. Because you are not one of them, you need to try times 3. So that you can be, you don't feel like because of what you wear, you can't drive that they judge you. No! Materials don't mean anything to these guys. What means to them is this. That's what means to them, not materials. Being able to have a robust dialogue with them. Then they invite you, then you talk to them. So that's how you're going to do it. So it's a different context. Almost finished at the time. How many more minutes? To get funding, but not much funding. I'm an ambassador for this organization, Personal Network. It's just one out of so many organizations that you can get funding for as a church. If you are in the United Kingdom, you can get and then if you are in Scotland and Wales, you get 2,000. You can find that there. The government understand that they cannot the way to engage with the community is not through local government alone, but it is through churches, and then the Islam network work with the government, and the government gives them a particular amount of money every year so that they can release it to churches, and the churches to engage with the community to be able to do so. So that's it. So the Islam network is to make it as easy as possible for the local church to help those people most at need in its community. That is what they do, is to make things easy for the local church, like yourself, your churches, so that the people at need in the community can benefit from the ministry of the local church. It's about changing the way society think about church. All along society has think about church as just some group of people who are just there to, sing and dance and then do whatever they need to do without doing anything. It's about changing the worldview and the mindset of the church. That actually church is a place where it goes beyond just your first contact spirituality, but through engagement, it can navigate your path into ultimate outcome is transformation. But people come to transformation through different ways. Yeah? So, this is how it works. 3,000 churches at the moment. Cinnamon Network has about 3,000 churches in its networks, about 50,000 volunteers and 700,000 beneficiaries. And you can see that the need of this country, you all in the news this week, that this country is in need of money. Yeah? That the poverty rate of this country is enormous at the moment. And that's why the government is now acknowledging and recognizing the work of the food bank so greatly. Because the people in when you say poverty is the level of poverty where you can eat. And then they realize the volume of people who are going to the food bank to ask for food. It really challenges the government that this country is in a state of that. Now, you will see that food bank is a Christian initiative. Yeah, you all know that. It's a Christian initiative. But food bank is one of the initiatives of Cinnamon Network. And then, if you imagine that about 3,000 churches and 50,000 volunteers, not only in food bank alone, but imagine the beneficiaries then. But the poverty and the level of importance and value of what church can do means that in 24 months alone, there has been a 300% increase in people from the public domain who are now engaging with the activities and work of the church through that. So you have 10,000 churches, 200 volunteers, and 2 million beneficiaries is the dream. Where 10,000 churches are involved, you have 200,000 volunteers and 2 million beneficiaries. So that means 25% of all the local churches in the UK are involved in this. Because ultimately is that we want to tell the government, we want to tell people that we can change the community of where we live in the UK through the ministry of the church. So don't give money to local initiatives or local offices. Give the money to the church and the church will use the money for you. That's what we say. Yeah? So how does now network work? It's through the local church. That's how it works. And then there's a book here on the Cinnamon Network which is called Ready Steady Go. It tells you on how to engage on it, how you get ready, how you get steady, and how you go on for it. Yeah? And then the key game of it is about working together. So you don't work alone really, because you working alone is, you get more synergy when we work with other people in terms of what they do. The way it works is there are already 20 projects within the Cinnamon Network stock. There are already 20 projects in there. Tried, tested, existing 20 projects. So they give you the money if your church, you are all the churches anyway, they give you the money if you pick any of the projects, right? You don't need to start, you don't need to think, you don't need to reason. They are already there, the projects are already there. So you pick any of the 20 projects and you say, I want to do this project. And then you fill in the application form. And then they send you the done. Right? So you fill some things in the application form, you know the way they're going to go follow about it. You choose a project, and then then the rest is history. So then you access the funding. there are 20 projects there already. You choose which one you want to do, and then you access the funding. And then that. But let me get I'm on the website of the Cinnamon Network, which tells a little bit about what they are what's all that about. There are programs, there are projects like Who Lets the Dad Out. It's an opportunity to engage with the local church to support fathers and children in their community. Yeah, there's another initiative called Ignition, which helps to equip the local church to help the unemployed people to find a job that is right for them. There's a Christmas launch of Jesus, which was initiated by Jesus House, but it has now become a franchise. It's been promoted all over the country. And it is so good that they did a match funding for Jesus House by giving them £35,000 for that project to go on. Then there's a project like Make Lunch, which helps local churches to provide a meal a day during school holidays for children who might otherwise go hungry. What they say there is that when the schools are in session, the children of the poor families are able to have free lunch in school. Yeah, correct? But when they are on holiday, that free lunch is no more there because the schools are on holiday. So the children then go hungry. So there is a program, there is an initiative here called Make Lunch. So when the school are on holidays, you can access funds to be able to do that and provide lunch for children when they are on school holiday. Then there's Food Bank, which all of you know, the trust funds to help churches to provide emergency food passes for people in crisis. There's another project called Reflex, which equips local churches to empower young people to stop the cycle of offending and re-offending. Right? So you engage young people in your church in conversation, in communication, in all sorts of things, so that especially those who are offenders, so that they don't re-offend again. There's another one for the adults called Caring for the Ex-Offenders, to support offenders so that you can integrate them into the community. Then of course you have street pastors, which respond to antisocial crisis and all of that. Street angels, same thing within your street to make your street and community safe. There's CAP clubs for those in poverty. There's a link visit scheme to help local churches to offer a befriending service for isolated older people. So that one is directed towards older people. There's parish nursing to help churches to appoint nurses who in turn support people and their communities. Then there's also the one for the mega fitness. Can you imagine? So mega fitness help local churches to run holistic fitness classes for their community. It's like having a church where, because I always say this, that most churches are not just smart. They are not smart because they only run their church on Wednesday service, Friday night vigil, and Sunday service. It's the most wasted. I don't even know the word. I'm lost for words. How can you just have a church for Sunday service, Wednesday service, and then Friday night vigil once in a while, and that's all your building is meant for? Even God is looking at you and saying, "You're stupid." Yeah? Before you even put the building there, you must think. 3 things you must understand about ministry: church, commerce, and community. The 3 C's of ministry. Right? I don't want to take you away because that's one of my books. It's called 3 C's of ministry: church, commerce, and community. Once you have ministry, those 3 things must come to your head. I do church as in praise, worship, and everything. Entrepreneurs in your church. See, the mistake we also make is that we make everybody to be a pastor and to be a pastor of a church. Big mistake. Right? So we don't make pastors to say you are not called to be a pastor of the church, you are called to be a pastor of the community. Are you learning? So we don't make pastors and say your gift is actually in the enterprise. So you are a pastor who is God's pastor in the business, in the marketplace. And that's why when I started this, that's why I said to you, you have to know to what God has called you. If God didn't call you to be a pastor of a 4-wall church members, you better don't. God might be calling you to be a pastor of the community, because what you are called to is when you are graced for. Right? I met another pastor who was struggling. And I was asking, what do you do? He said, I'm a businessman. He said, every time people come to me, we talk about business just flows and things like that. I said, maybe you are in the wrong disposition of what we're doing. And he said, what should I do? I said, why don't you start developing the aspect of your entrepreneur and your business initiative in ministry? And he started in 6 months. He said 6 businesses have started from members of the church who are now expanding all over the place.
Wow.
So it's important to know what you are called for and what you are doing in that sense. So if in any case, it might not be called in all the three, but for what you are called, but have it in mind that when God brings people into your church, right? You can't have everything. When God people bring people into your church, identify the giftings in the people. Right? So don't be one man show. Even Jesus was a one man show. He had 12 people around him. Yeah? He could have done it on his own. So why did he have 12 people? Because he wants to empower and release them on different giftings. So if you're a pastor, if I'm the pastor of the church, really, I'll be looking for people who support me. In fact, I'll be the laziest pastor. What I mean by that laziest pastor is that I will always be empowering people. I'll not see, that's one thing I like Pastor Wago for. That guy is a visionary expert. But number two, one of the best gifts of Pastor Wago is he knows how to identify gifts and release them. That's why Redeem is successful in UK. He doesn't care who you are. Once he can identify the gift in you, believe in me, he's empowering you, he's releasing you, and he's supporting you. Because he said to me, I can't do nothing. He said, I know my own gifts. My own gift is to identify those who have the gifts that are help the work. He said, that's my own gift. You see, I've never seen such a man with an uncanny humility in doing that. You see, the 27th of December, I'll just give you an example of how a massive loss of respect. We're having 3 days prayer and fasting before the end of the year. Pardon? 27th, yeah. And he came to church. As he entered the church, and he came in, he was supposed to lead the prayer meeting and preach. And I went to him, I said, okay, I have a message for tonight, but I don't want to preach it. I prepared this sermon, I preach it on 27th December. And I read it on my iPad. He said, for sure, this is the message for tonight. But I said, I don't want to, whatever. He said, okay. And he went in there, he said, I was going to preach, but God gave the message to somebody else. So I'm going to preach his own message. But know that it's not my message. But it's God's message through somebody else. I'm going to be the one communicating it with you, through whatever. And he preached the thing. And every time we make a reference, Revi, thank God for this. And he left there, he said, I'll be the first one to bless you for this message. And he sat down, wrote me a check for £500, said, blessings. He said, this message blessed my life. I said, but I didn't preach it, I don't need to preach it. You, God gave you the message, I preach it, it doesn't matter if people get blessed. So, do you understand what leadership means? So, for me living there, and people come to me and say, and he told people, he said, go and bless the man, no, because it's the man's message. So I sat down there and I said, I didn't preach the thing, no. I didn't preach it. People are bringing money for me in the envelope. I said, I'll do this for you. I will not find the message for tomorrow. So what am I saying here is the ability of the leader is to find people who you can resource to do. See, all these things I'm talking, cinnamon networks and things that might not be your forte. That might not be your forte at all. When you want to start filling forms, when you want to start, it might not be what you are good at. But believe you me, within the people God has sent to you, there are some people who are experts in that. In their area of competency will be that area. I have 3 PAs. It's not because of anything that I have 3 PAs. But I have a PA, all my PAs that I have them to support me in the area where I'm weak. Right? Because what is the point in me carrying everything when somebody else can do it? And they will do it with all of their hearts and with all of their mind. I think this is all. So I just keep making them feel like I can't exist without you. You are the whatever. I think they will say, don't give us the money. You are too. I said, no, you don't even know. So I really I'll be laughing. I said, these people don't know that my life is not complete without them. So, you see what I'm saying? You cannot do this thing on your own. But God will send an insecure leader will push people away. Yes. A secure leader will pull people around them. That I go, wherever I go with you. Wherever I go with you. So you let them see. So when we talk about this cinnamon network, like I said, it might not be your forte. Because it might be called as a pastor to the church. But there will be people who are called as a pastor to the community. Right? Announce them, promote them, let everybody know this is the pastor in charge of the community. And if you find somebody who, maybe most, some of you, you're going to go and rent a place or whatever, start developing the enterprise and commerce within your church. Who's that guy from Liverpool here? That made that Liverpool. You know the Temple of Praise in Liverpool, Dr. Tani?
Yes.
You know? Are you from there?
No, I was there for my undergrad. I went to church there for 3 years. So.
For 3 days?
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years. And you don't know me as one of the board of directors there. You know me. And I didn't come there to preach all the time you're there. Dr. Tani, yeah?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's my spiritual dad. Yeah. What do you think about that church?
I love it. So really,
What do you think is great about that church?
his non-denominational.
Yeah, what is peculiar about that church to the community?
It's multiracial, and we do a lot of things in the community. They're hopeful, we're very active.
Yeah.
During Hope 2008.
Yeah, but for all the church itself, in terms of they have a furniture shop outside.
No, I left by the time we developed that aspect
Yeah.
of the church.
Okay, when did you leave?
I left in 2009.
Okay. This one church that because I'm a member of the board of trustees, I can tell you that their income as a church from outside is bigger than from that and offering. You get me? So that means they'll be able to position themselves well. You know they have the housing associations or whatever, home for the whatever that government give them money for. And they also have, government also give them money for excluded children from school so that they can, and they have a studio where they take those secluded children, where they use them to now produce albums and they become number one. See, the thing is, they have seen the church beyond just